today, Tuesday, October the 10th, the Ambusher DLC is now out in the Hunter Call of the Wild on all 3 platforms. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the patch notes to go with this update so you know exactly what is coming with this update. And there are a lot of fixes, guys, so I know you are going to be very happy about this. So first and foremost, the Ambusher DLC is now out. In the Ambusher DLC, you will find the Quist Red Pro electronic collar. This baby, you can use 1 on a map at a time. Each person in multiplayer can bring their own in, so you can have 8 on a multiplayer server. But it will call in every animal in the game that already does have a manual collar, as well as alligators. So that's a little bonus for us. We also have the Maradi Model 1894 lever action rifle. This is actually a pretty sweet rifle. I really like it. It has insane penetration, uses the 44 handgun ammo, and well, you do have to try it out for yourself, but it is a pretty sweet rifle. I have been enjoying it quite a bit. Then we have, last but not least, the Stenberg Takedown recurve bow. Now, this is not only a recurve bow, but with this bow, you can actually put any sight onto it, which is just absolutely fantastic. Makes it a lot easier for those of us who aren't the best at using the recurve bow with no sight. Also available as of today are the new cosmetic packs. We have the Medved Taiga cosmetic pack, and this is absolutely beautiful. We have Virhonga Savannah, and we have Parque Fernando. Now, there is a deal. If you purchase them as a pack, you will save 34%, I believe. So that is called the Reserve Cosmetics Bundle 1 and is available on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Epic Game Store, and Windows 10. So then it reads, today we are also releasing a decent sized patch that addresses a host of player requested improvements and fixes to the Hunter Call of the Wild, and let's dive into it. Now guys, let me know in the comments if you have seen content or you have used the Ambusher DLC yet. What is your favorite thing in it, and what do you think of it? I would love to know. Drop a comment below, and if you do enjoy the video, hit that like button. Okay, feature updates. We've added a new option to expand or collapse UI categories with a controller while navigating the inventory. The archery range on Parque Fernando has been updated with targets fixed at the appropriate distances for the bow and crossbow zeroing settings to facilitate practicing with the new recurve bow. So that's very cool. Improvements. We've provided a better description of certain mission objectives to make it more clear how they are supposed to be completed. So they've reordered the missions so that we can understand them better, basically. We've updated the scroll bars in certain text boxes to look consistent. Now under bug fixes, under gameplay, an issue where previously placed items could be removed from a reserve during game startup has been addressed. The Kuso shotgun will no longer jam when switched to after firing another shotgun or pistol. We fixed an issue on the Solican rifle that caused the scope to dip off screen when rechambering. That is awesome, because every time you took a shot with the Solican, the scope would fly off and then come back, making it virtually impossible to take a follow-up shot. So now I will definitely hunt with the Solican more often. Certain perks will now be correctly applied to longbows. We've addressed the zeroing inaccuracies on the 223, 270, and the 243 rifles when they were zeroed at 300 meters. Certain levels of the Lightning Hands perk will no longer cause missing reload animations for the Cacciatore and Norden shotguns. Aiming on all bows has been updated to correct light and heavy arrow inaccuracies. We've fixed an issue that could cause the reload animation for bows to play twice. We've addressed an issue where weapons that could fire ammunition with significantly different ballistic properties, for example, shotguns with a slug or pellet ammo, the Hudsick cap lock with round or mini balls, would not switch to the correct sighting and zeroing settings when changing ammo. We've fixed the accuracy issues on the Strucker shotguns. The Goose blood tracks will no longer appear under certain conditions. Bleeding out animals that were supposed to die won't remain alive anymore. Southeastern Spanish ibex have been returned to class 4. We've addressed an issue with the location where the ATV would spawn at the Red Stonehouse outpost on Emerald Coast. Players will no longer appear to float briefly when entering tree stands. Now under multiplayer, the hot air balloon in Emerald Coast should now be located in the same place for all players in multiplayer. Animals in the sanctuary on Emerald Coast will now be visible to all players in a multiplayer session. Well, that's good. We fixed an issue that prevented the player's status from returning to normal if they were inside a blind or other structure Super as it was dismantled. Players should now be able to hear the sounds of equipment being placed or dismantled in multiplayer. I've noticed a lot of sounds not happening in multiplayer, so that is really sweet. Challenge results will now be correctly saved in multiplayer. The chat blocking settings on Windows Store will now work as intended. We have addressed an issue where players on the Microsoft Store version of the game were sometimes unable to join multiplayer games when invited by their Xbox network friends. Under UI, the game will no longer become unplayable if the player dies while the harvest screen is being displayed. The DLC store menu will no longer become unresponsive if the player loses connection to the internet while accessing that menu. We've fixed an issue with PlayStation players not being able to access the virtual keyboard while not being connected to PSN. Magpie Goose decoys should now be labeled correctly on the map. Changing things in the weapon wheel while riding the ATV will no longer cause items to disappear. Remapping the open map key should now properly remap both the open and close map functions to the new key. Using the reset to default option in the settings menus will now correctly reset all options to default. PC players should now be able to select the X-ray view on the harvest screen while viewing a true rack animal and using a controller. A ghostly silhouette will no longer appear on the harvest screen when switching back and forth between the X-ray view. We've fixed an issue where certain mission animals would show up on the harvest screen with their horns detached. The weapon customization menu will now immediately update after purchasing a customization package. Pressing the favorite button while in inspect mode in the customization menu will no longer cause issues. We fixed an issue with the scroll bars not working properly in news pop-ups. This fix also affected the main menu and cosmetic screens. An issue causing the skip button text to be cut short in various languages during cinematics has been addressed. We've addressed an issue that caused item text descriptions to be slightly clipped. The description on the Brightside Rangefinder bow sight no longer misleads players by indicating the wrong activation button. Well, that is awesome because I want to use that sight. We found and returned the missing back button icon when viewing objects while using a gamepad. Menu items behind a news pop-up should now be interactive again. We've fixed an issue where the Y button on a controller would select a DLC item in the DLC store. An issue where a confusing UI tooltip would appear on consoles when hide all animal clues was turned on has been fixed. Now under stability, the game will no longer crash when launched from the Epic Games storefront. We fixed a crash that could occasionally occur when loading or switching reserves. The animal collar UI indicator appearing on the screen should no longer occasionally crash the game. Under graphics, strong winds will no longer cause the water waves to look strange. We fixed an issue that caused foliage to appear unintentionally blurry. We've improved the look of screen space contact shadows. A collision issue on fire pits has been addressed. Ambient occlusion issues on the 338, 270, 223, and 44 revolver and the 357 Magnum have been fixed. And under audio, the triumphant fanfare when harvesting great ones has returned. Yay! So I would imagine that means every time you harvest a great one, you will get the Great One song, and that just adds to the excitement of the moment. So there you have it, guys. That is what is included in today's update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will definitely see you guys in the next one.